people's overall satisfaction as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good point.
But, I'm wondering, you ask people to do, you're going to get a higher moral commitment if your policies happen to jibe with what people believe is correct.
Yeah. And that might be a way of talking about how to influence moral commitment as
Yeah.
well. That might be a way to actually, practically, how organizations can do that by manipulating the policy a little bit. It would be an interesting study, too.
All I see is perceptions of bad things, of getting caught, and countermeasures, how it can stand against my bad actions. Did you look at the perception of the good thing that could happen to that insider by committing that crime? For example, making $100 million.
No, I didn't. So the benefit that they would accrue. No. It's a good point. Yeah. I simply, in this case, they were just, and the scenario was presented where it didn't talk about. Actually, I think I have in the slides here, the actual scenarios, just so you kind of get a flavor for. I don't know how well you can see that, but these are the type of. So it didn't say anything about bad things happening to the organization. It's kind of a situation just presented, and then would you do this? Okay, so no, that's a good point though, because obviously they're doing that trade-off in their head, right? That cost-benefit analysis, you would think.
And going back to the question I was saying, that maybe justifies the action. The punishment is not high enough. What the heck?
Right. Did someone have their hand up back there in the last row?
Yeah, basically what I was saying is that there's a study by Gary Becker which is about application of rational choice theory to criminal behavior, which says the same thing, that if overall utility of doing a criminal behavior is more than having a legit behavior, you will do the act. So if the utility that you get out of misusing your information technology resources is greater than
The cost.
is greater than if you don't misuse them, you'll definitely go ahead and do it. So that would probably be a good framework to look to.
Okay, thanks. Rational choice theory, right? Yeah. I think another thing too that, just kind of wrap it up. So we see, and this is just in looking at the statistics, we see these type of things that have an impact on misuse intention. And if you look at that number there, R squared equals 30, that indicates from statistical sense here that 30% of the variance in that variable is explained by these factors, which means that there's 70% of variance unexplained. It's still open, that other things explain people's highest misuse intention in terms of these scenarios than what I have here, these factors. So there's other things to consider. And one of the things that we talked about, you mentioned rational choice, which is the idea of people rationally will look at the costs and benefits. But I think some research is suggesting that people aren't always rational. Sometimes it's habit. Sometimes it's peer pressure. Sometimes it's your own some internal feelings. So the way I use deterrence theory here, and this is what's called classic deterrence theory, it's just perceived certainty and severity. There's something now that's called the more, I think it's called contemporary deterrence theory, where it adds in informal sanctions. So shame, embarrassment, these other type of more internal type things are shown to have a strong impact on people's willingness to engage in misuse behavior as well. So I'm going to kind of look at some of those type of factors in addition to just these more formal things that the organization can control. I'm going to look at some of them in the future and see the impact that maybe they have. Moral commitment would be an example of one of those type informal type things too. Your level of morality we see has a strong impact. But there's obviously some other factors that would predict this behavior than what I presented here. So kind of some area for future research. So, and again, if anyone, you have my email address, and if you'd like the paper, please do send me the email. I'll send it to you. And if you have any comments or any questions, please feel free to contact me. I'm always interested in talking about this type of stuff. Security behavior in general is kind of what excites me and what I'm interested in. So, does anyone have any more questions? Thanks a lot for having me.
Thank you.